first of all, in the Olympic Games, one of the things that people notice is that I've got a blue shoe and I've got a white shoe. And in those days, high jump shoes, because they're specialized, were bought in singles. But Adidas and Puma and the other shoemakers would sell them as a pair. But I happened to wear a blue shoe and a white shoe because my high jump shoe was already broken in. I had made the Olympic team, and so that was, my right shoe was what I was going to keep for the games. My left shoe was a new shoe, a gift from Adidas, and I wore that because it was new. Okay, so what's interesting about the high jump shoe from the 60s, all of them have leather uppers. The bottoms of them, this is a running spike. Today the high jump shoes have heel spikes, so they'll have 4 or 6 spikes in the front, typically 6. Two in the back in both shoes, left foot, right foot. Usually a grippy surface. So this was a typical practice shoe for me that I had in 1968. After the Olympic Games, I had met Adi Dassler, and he was intrigued by my new technique, by my new style. Had not seen me jump live, but he had some ideas about high jump shoes. So in the spring of 1969, he sent me this pair of shoes, which are unique. Number one, it's a prototype, but it was a new fashion, a new grippy surface. Here's the left foot with heel spikes. And this was the new format for the new high jump shoes in 1969. What's unique about this is the Cyclops feature. So Adi was a designer. I'm an engineer, and I design infrastructure, and I know that we live and die by our successes and failures. This was a creative attempt from the idea that Adi had, that because I was rotating as I left the ground, he thought it might be an advantage that I could pivot. This actually didn't work successfully, partly because of the slick surface. This could have been carried across all the way on the bottom, but the reality was that I didn't pivot. We hit on the ground on our takeoff for 0.12 of a second. It's very quick, and we need that grip and that contact with the ground. So it was a shoe that I'm very proud to own, because it was something that was creative, that he thought could help me go to the next level and the next success. But the high jump shoe is unique because we are allowed a lift in the front of the foot 1 centimeter thick. In the 50s, there were actually high jumpers that started to try to jump with platform shoes. Obviously, that's cheating. And so they developed a rule, but they did allow with the high jump an elevated or thicker front of the foot that's different from any other running shoe. So these are the typical high jump shoes, except for this single spike in the late 60s and into the early 70s. From this, what the high jump shoes were looking like in the late 60s and early 70s is a nice grip on the bottom, both in the front and in the back. In those days, only 4 spikes in the front. Nowadays, they've got 6, but always 2 spikes in the back. And that enables you to not slip on your heel as you plant on your takeoff. And then take off of your jump, your takeoff foot or your jump foot to get up off the ground and jump as high as you can. once again, leather uppers, a little bit of plastic around the heel, and nice grip on the bottom. Those were the high jump shoes that we had back in those days. Much more advanced today.